According to internet articles, Christian de Molyneux is a French professor who has publicly defended splitting up France in two states, one secular and one Islamic. I have tried to find information about de Molyneux on the internet. It was hard to come by, but as I understand, de Molyneux studied mathematics in his hometown of Dijon and he's been working as a high school teacher or high school professor for years in the city of Valenciennes. He's a fiction writer and has published a few novels, political thrillers, dystopian SF, and novels including Muslims among the main characters. A year ago, de Molyneux published an article in the French magazine Causeur, which appears online as well as in a print edition, where he proposed founding an Islamic state within the borders of France to solve the conflicts between Muslims and non-Muslims in the country. This new state is to be ruled by Sharia, but it must be controlled by the French government. Muslims now living in France can choose either to live under French law or Sharia law. According to de Molyneux, the state will never succeed in integrating those French Muslims who want to live under Sharia. It is impossible to get rid of the extremists, and it would be brutal and unacceptable to deport them. The best choice is to give these people, about 30% of the French Muslims, the right to live under Sharia. A complete splitting, territorially and politically, is not possible, de Molyneux says. The Muslim ghettos form no geographic unity, they cannot develop into a real nation, and they would not survive financially on their own. What we need is one government governing two peoples, with two judicial systems side by side. Among those Muslims who so choose, Sharia will be the basis for all questions concerning marriage, allowing for polygamy, for inheritance, and for solving strife between Muslims. These cases will be outside of the jurisdiction of the French courts. Muslims will have their own schools and their own hospitals. This is the only way to prevent civil war, de Molyneux says. Others have expressed similar views. In 2016, former President François Hollande asked how it would be possible to prevent a splitting up of France, since such a split is already occurring. According to de Molyneux, there is already an Islamic parallel society in France, consisting of at least 30% of the Muslims living in the country. These people want to be guided by religious values, and they reject the liberal consensus. A stable nation requires a minimal consensus concerning existing laws, but in today's France there is no such consensus, de Molyneux says. The government refuses to take this into account, and the politicians accept an increasing radicalism in all of society out of fear of being accused of Islamophobia. The hijab is becoming the norm at schools and in the workplace, halal meat in lunch restaurants, and enmity towards Jews is accepted in the ghettos. Eventually, Christianity will be pushed back and the churches will close. All this strengthens an excessive nationalism. De Molyneux compares his vision of France to the former colony of Algeria, which had one government but two peoples. The French with their French laws, and the Muslims with their own justice system taken from the Quran, governing mainly questions concerning marriage and inheritance. Introducing a similar system in France will bring peace to the country, de Molyneux says. De Molyneux's proposal is yet another proof of the feminine kind of national masochism that is dominant in Western, Central and Northern Europe today. Swedish social democratic politicians tell the Swedish people they have no culture and demand of ethnic Swedes that they shall integrate into the immigrant population. Germans who teach German to immigrants are being advised in workshops to learn Arabic, and a German retired priest calls for free prostitutes for Muslim men to discourage them from raping German girls. These people are trying to live out their own need for sexual submission through politics, and the result, if they have their way, will be disastrous.